Paris after people. 10,000 years of solitude. Imagine Paris, the city of lights, love, and endless inspiration. Every year, millions of people stroll along the Seine, marvel at the Eiffel Tower, and lose themselves in the halls of the Louvre. The aroma of fresh croissants drifts from corner bakeries, street musicians play under the bridges, and the city pulses with life day and night. But now, picture this. One ordinary morning, every single person vanishes. No warning, no explanation, just silence. The cafes are abandoned mid-conversation. Traffic lights blink to empty streets. And the only sound is the wind rustling through the trees of the Champs-Élysées. What happens next? How long will the monuments of Paris stand without us? Will nature reclaim the city, or will our creations endure? Today, let's embark on a journey through time to witness the fate of Paris in a world without people. In the first few hours, Paris seems frozen in time. Trains sit idle in their stations. Buses are parked at their stops, and the last echoes of human voices fade away. Automatic systems continue for a while. Traffic lights change, street lights flicker on at dusk, and fountains still bubble in city squares. But without human oversight, these systems begin to fail. Within a day, power plants start to shut down. Some neighborhoods lose electricity, plunging into darkness. Elevators are stuck between floors, and the metro grinds to a halt deep underground. Water continues to flow from taps, but with no one to fix leaks, pipes burst, and basements begin to flood. The city's intricate sewage system, once maintained by teams of engineers, starts to clog. As night falls, Paris is darker and quieter than it has been in centuries. The only movement comes from the animals. Foxes, which already roam the city's parks at night, venture further into the open. Birds, sensing the absence of people, begin to nest in new places. By the end of the first week, the city is no longer just empty. It's beginning to change. A year passes. Without street cleaners, trash accumulates, but soon wind and rain scatter it, and plants begin to sprout through cracks in the pavement. Lawns in the Tuileries and Luxembourg Gardens grow wild, and seeds carried by the wind take root in gutters, rooftops, and even the stonework of ancient buildings. Trees, once carefully pruned, now grow unchecked. Their roots push up sidewalks and invade the foundations of houses. The Seine, no longer managed by floodgates and pumps, overflows during heavy rains. Low-lying neighborhoods like Ile de la Cité and parts of the left bank are the first to flood. The Paris metro, built below the water table, fills with water as pumps fail. Tunnels become underground rivers, and stations are submerged. Animals become bolder. Wild boars from the forests around Paris wander into the city, rooting through parks and gardens. Deer graze on the Champs-Élysées. Birds of prey nest atop Notre Dame and the Eiffel Tower, while pigeons and crows take over abandoned attics and bell towers. Already, the city is beginning to look less like a metropolis and more like a wild, overgrown ruin. 10 years without people, and the transformation is dramatic. Roofs, especially those made of wood and tile, begin to collapse under the weight of rain and snow. Water seeps into walls, causing plaster to crumble and paint to peel. The Eiffel Tower, once repainted every 7 years to protect it from rust, is now streaked with orange and brown. Corrosion eats away at its iron beams, though the structure still stands tall for now. Notre Dame, already damaged by fire in 2019, suffers further. Without repairs, its wooden framework rots, and the stone walls are invaded by moss, ivy, and even small trees. The Louvre, with its underground galleries and glass pyramid, is especially vulnerable. Floodwaters from the Seine seep into the lower levels, destroying priceless artworks. Paintings warp and decay, sculptures crack, and the famous glass pyramid becomes clouded with grime and overgrown with vines. The city's infrastructure is failing. Bridges over the Seine begin to weaken as their supports are undermined by water and plant roots. Animals now rule the city. Packs of wolves, having migrated from the forests of eastern France, hunt in the empty streets. Feral dogs and cats form new social groups. The sounds of Paris are now the calls of birds, the rustle of animals in the undergrowth, and the distant crash of collapsing buildings. Half a century has passed. Paris is almost unrecognizable. Most modern buildings have collapsed. Wooden beams have rotted, metal has rusted, and glass has shattered. The Eiffel Tower, weakened by decades of unchecked corrosion, finally succumbs. One of its legs buckles, and the once mighty symbol of Paris crashes to the ground, its remains quickly hidden by encroaching vegetation. Stone structures fare better. The skeletons of Notre Dame, the Arc de Triomphe, and a few other monuments still stand, though they are covered in moss, lichen, and climbing plants. The Seine has changed course in places, creating new wetlands and lakes where neighborhoods once stood. The city is now a dense forest, with trees growing in former boulevards and parks merging into wild woodlands. Wildlife flourishes. Boars, deer, foxes, and wolves are common. Beavers build dams in the Seine's tributaries, creating new habitats for fish and birds. The air is filled with birdsong, and the city's ruins provide shelter for countless species. If you were to walk through Paris now, you might not even realize you were in a city, except for the occasional archway, a toppled statue, or a fragment of stone wall peeking through the trees. Centuries pass. The city that once defined culture and civilization is now a memory, hidden beneath layers of soil and vegetation. Most buildings are gone, their stones scattered and buried. The metro tunnels, once a marvel of engineering, have collapsed and filled with earth. The only structures that remain are those built to last: the thick stone walls of cathedrals, the foundations of bridges, and the deepest cellars. Even these are slowly being claimed by nature. Tree roots split stone, frost shatters what remains, and rain erodes the carvings and sculptures. The Seine, unconstrained, has carved new paths through the city, erasing streets and landmarks. In the forests that now cover Paris, animals roam freely. Wolves and deer are the new rulers of the land. If a future explorer were to dig here, they might find fragments of marble, rusted metal, or shards of glass, clues that a great city once stood in this place. But to the casual observer, Paris is gone, replaced by wilderness. 10,000 years is an unimaginable span of time. By now, even the most durable monuments have crumbled. The Arc de Triomphe is a pile of weathered stones. The last remnants of Notre Dame are buried beneath centuries of earth. The Eiffel Tower is nothing but a trace of iron oxide in the soil. Plastic, strangely enough, may be the longest-lasting legacy of humanity. Bottles and fragments buried deep underground, waiting to be discovered by some future intelligence. The Seine has shifted its course many times, erasing the last traces of streets and buildings. Paris, once the beating heart of Europe, is now a wild, ancient forest, indistinguishable from the countryside that surrounds it. Only the most careful archaeological study could reveal that a city ever existed here. To understand how quickly nature can reclaim a city, we don't have to look far. In Pripyat, Ukraine, abandoned after the Chernobyl disaster, forests have swallowed entire neighborhoods in just a few decades. Buildings collapse under the weight of trees, and wild animals roam the empty streets. In Kolmanskop, Namibia, sand dunes have filled the rooms of once prosperous houses, erasing all signs of human life. These places are living laboratories, showing us that nature doesn't wait centuries to take over. It begins the moment we leave. Paris would be no different. The process might take longer, but the outcome is inevitable. Paris is more than just a city. It's a symbol of human achievement, creativity, and love. But even the greatest cities are temporary in the face of nature's power. One day, everything we build will return to the earth, and the world will move on without us. But for now, Paris is ours to cherish, to protect, and to remember. Which city should we explore next on this journey into the future? Let me know in the comments, and maybe your idea will inspire the next episode. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next adventure. And thank you for traveling through time with me today.